Welcome back to the Alpha Insider Show. I am Aaron. Today, we're delving deep into a topic that hits home for all of us: how to face life's challenges and come out stronger. Life throws us curveballs, sometimes one after the other, and it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the thing, every challenge holds power if only we know how to harness it. And who better to guide us through this journey than our go-to mentor, Dr. Bach. He's faced challenges that would make most of us pause, and he's emerged not just unscathed, but more powerful than ever. So, what do you do when life tests you? How do you tap into that hidden well of strength? Don't worry if you're not sure where to begin, I'm right there with you. But Dr. Bach knows, and today, we'll unlock his most powerful insights and hard-earned strategies for turning life's toughest moments into stepping stones toward greatness. This is one episode you won't want to miss. Albert, Isabel, you have the floor.
Ever feel like life is throwing these curveballs, these invisible forces that shape us, make us who we are?
Today we're diving deep into that very idea with Dr. Bach.
Oh, okay.
Dentist turned entrepreneur.
You're right.
And get this, author of a staggering 172 books in just 84 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 172 books.
That's impressive.
In 84 months.
Yeah.
And this isn't your typical, rags to riches story.
Right.
Dr. Bach's book, Forces of Nature.
Okay.
He gets real, dives into those internal battles, things like inertia, doubt, even wrestling with, the big bad wolf of time itself.
Time, yeah.
So what I found captivating...
But Dr. Bach is that he doesn't shy away from these forces, these challenges.
It's true, yeah. What's so interesting about him is that he leans in.
He views these forces as opportunities to kind of forge resilience, wisdom.
Okay, so let's unpack this whole leaning in thing. He tackles inertia head on.
Right.
But he's not just talking about, hitting the snooze button on life.
He's talking about that pressure to fit in, to dim your own light so you don't, outshine everyone.
Oh, I see.
He calls this his time and conformity. It's like this invisible force field pushing you towards average.
Right, and he's speaking from a place of knowing, from experience.
He talks about being that kid, the one labeled arrogant, just for sharing his ideas.
And instead of shrinking back, he uses that, fuels his creativity.
Interesting.
Turns it into a superpower.
It's wild. It's like he took that conformity pressure and turned it into rocket fuel.
Exactly.
Then there's this whole myopia thing. And Dr. Bach argues that we get so bogged down, stuck in the details, that we forget to actually move forward.
Yeah, we get paralyzed.
His solution, embrace speed.
I like that.
He even experimented with this idea of saying yes to almost everything for a year.
Wow.
And guess what? It led to some of his biggest breakthroughs.
That's amazing. Yeah, it speaks to his playful approach,
Yeah.
challenging those norms.
He finds this freedom in pushing his own limits.
Right, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
He gets brutally honest about the darker side of ambition, especially his relationship with time.
Ah, yes.
Which he describes as this demanding lover he can never quite satisfy.
Oh, wow.
He even admits to being, and I quote, time's bitch sometimes.
He said that.
I mean, how many of us can relate to feeling like we're on this treadmill we can't get off?
Right? Always rushing, never enough time.
It's that vulnerability that makes him so relatable. Yeah.
He's not afraid to pull back the curtain on his own struggles.
Even when they reveal his, imperfections.
He makes him human.
And it's in those raw, honest moments that his insights hit even harder.
Absolutely. You feel like you can really trust him.
And then there's the chapter on truth, which is a total roller coaster.
Oh, tell me about it.
He describes this intense encounter with truth.
Almost like this force that strips you bare,
Yeah, I get that.
But he suggests that facing those uncomfortable truths, while painful, is so crucial for growth.
It's like he's saying, yeah, it's going to hurt, but you'll come out stronger.
Exactly.
It's the only way to grow.
It's this willingness to confront those hard truths that allows him to maintain humility.
You can be confident and humble. He recognizes that true strength isn't about pretending we have it all figured out,
but about acknowledging our vulnerabilities and always striving to learn, to grow.
Right. It's a powerful message.
Especially in a world that often celebrates, this superficial perfection.
Oh, absolutely.
So we've talked about inertia, myopia, time, and truth.
Big ones.
And honestly, we're just scratching the surface of what Dr. Bach explores in Forces of Nature.
There's so much more to unpack.
And each one of these forces, he argues, has the potential to either make or break us.
It all comes down to how we choose to engage with them.
And that's where things get really interesting, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. That's where the real work begins. Yeah, it's where the rubber meets the road.
So he dives even deeper with this whole idea of duality. He has a chapter called Two Faces.
Two faces, huh?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
But he isn't just talking about good versus evil, right?
Right. It's got to be more nuanced than that.
It's like the inherent contradiction within us all.
Okay.
That light and shadow we all carry.
The two faces we present to the world.
It's like he's saying we're all walking paradoxes.
I like that.
And that trying to deny or suppress parts of ourselves actually makes us weaker.
Oh, absolutely. Trying to fit into some perfect mold when, in reality...
Embracing those contradictions, that's where the real strength lies.
And he even links this to how we view success and failure.
Okay, how so?
He suggests they aren't opposites, but two sides of the same coin.
Interesting. So instead of chasing this, picture-perfect image of success...
He's advocating for something more human, right?
It's a radical self-acceptance.
Which I think is what makes him so relatable.
Yeah, I know, right?
He doesn't shy away from the less glamorous parts of life.
He gives us permission to do the same.
It's refreshing.
It is. It's like he's saying, hey, it's okay to not have all the answers.
We're all just figuring it out as we go.
And then there's the chapter on emotions.
Oh, boy.
This one really got me thinking. He describes emotions as this, untamed beast inside all of us.
Okay, I can see that.
Capable of incredible creation, but also utter destruction.
Right, it's a powerful force.
And he doesn't sugarcoat it.
He admits to letting his own inner beast run wild, even hurting himself and others.
That takes guts to admit, especially publicly.
But it's what he says next that's so important.
What's that?
He doesn't advocate for suppressing or denying our emotions.
Yeah.
He says we need to learn to, tame them.
To channel that energy, right?
It's like that metaphor he uses, mounting the beast.
Interesting.
He's not talking about dominating it,
but about working with its energy.
To direct that force instead of letting it control you.
He even talks about using this understanding of emotions to connect with people.
To inspire them.
To inspire them to action.
It's brilliant. He's reframing how we see emotions.
Instead of a weakness, he shows us how to turn them into a source of strength.
They connect us, fuel our creativity, our empathy.
But he's not saying to just let them run wild.
Right, there's a balance.
He emphasizes self-awareness and taking responsibility for our actions.
It's a dance.
Between passion and discipline, feeling deeply and acting thoughtfully.
And he invites us all to join that dance.
I love that.
To explore our own emotional landscape, to harness its power.
To create the lives we want, not the lives we think we're supposed to have.
Exactly.
It's a powerful message, especially in today's world.
It's so easy to feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained.
Right, like we're just on this roller coaster we can't get off of.
Exactly.
But Dr. Back reminds us that we aren't helpless.
We have a choice.
We have a choice in how we respond to these forces.
And that's incredibly empowering.
It's like he's saying, instead of running from the storm, we got to learn to dance in the rain.
Beautifully put.
And maybe, just maybe, in those messy, rain-soaked moments, that's where we discover a strength, resilience that we never knew we had.
We surprise ourselves.
It really makes you think about challenges in a whole new light, right?
Yeah.
What if, instead of fearing them,
we got curious about them?
Instead of obstacles.
They're there to teach us something.
Exactly, like Dr. Back does.
Wow.
Opportunities to, become more fully ourselves.
It changes everything, that shift in perspective.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Dr. Back's forces of nature, I'm curious, what force is really resonating with you?
What's that one challenge, that internal struggle that maybe, you could lean into?
Right, instead of shying away from...
Use it as fuel for growth,
It's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And I think within those challenges...
Within those forces that we think are holding us back,
right.
That's where we find the keys to, unlocking our full potential.
This deep dive has been incredible, eye-opening, thought-provoking.
And honestly, surprisingly hopeful. It
is hopeful.
You've uncovered Dr. Back's, unconventional wisdom, his raw honesty, and this unwavering belief in our capacity for change, for transformation.
And it's not about being perfect, is it?
Not at all.
It's about embracing the messiness, the journey.
Becoming who we truly are.
Exactly.
And who knows, maybe those forces we once feared,
they become the wind beneath our wings.
I love that.
And that wraps up another transformative episode of the Alpha Insider Show. Today, we learned that challenges aren't just obstacles. They're opportunities waiting for us to seize their power. Dr. Bach reminded us that facing adversity isn't about avoiding discomfort or setbacks. It's about stepping into them, embracing the lessons, and harnessing them to become stronger and wiser. If today's episode inspired you to look at your own challenges differently, to see them as sources of power instead of burdens, then you're already one step ahead. Remember, life will always throw its tests at us, but it's how we respond that defines our journey. For those eager to dive deeper, Dr. Bach is active on social media and always ready to share more insights with those serious about growth. And here's some exciting news. Qualified candidates can apply to join Dr. Bach's exclusive mentorship program and become part of his entourage as apprentices for 12 months. Don't forget, his 174 books filled with wisdom and real-life strategies are available on Amazon Kindle and Apple Books in 51 countries. Plus, keep an eye out for his upcoming online alpha class that promises to take your growth to the next level. Thank you for joining us on the Alpha Insider Show, where we don't just talk about success, we redefine it. Tune in every Monday and Thursday at 8 a.m. I'm Aaron, and as always, welcome to the Alphas.